Hello, viewers. Welcome back. We are still live here on Mega Studio, Atlanta, Georgia. Still on Nigerian votes today. And before we went on commercial break, we were talking about issues about the qualifications for presidency and all the rights. And I would just like to get most of those information read out so that we can know where we're getting it right or wrong as a people. And can you just
okay, for the to be electable in Nigeria, for the you have to be a citizen of Nigeria by birth for the executive office of the presidency. The age of the presidency or the vice presidency should be within 40 years of age. The governor, deputy governors are 35. We have the Senate. Senate is probably about 35. You have to be 35 to actually contest for the Senate seat. The House of Representatives is 30, while the House of Assembly is also 30. Now, the chairman and area council is also 30. Now, the one that went down to 25 is the council of your area. That's your local government council. That's council in your area. Now, what we had and we were arguing about was me and Chidi was the qualification.
Yeah, because that was what the Buhari
the Buhari certificate issue.
On and on, yeah. So we just want to get that cleared out.
So education, like, it's kind of what INEC have on their website is the education up to school certificate level, or it's up to, or it's equivalent. It said up to, or it's equivalent. Now, it didn't say you must have a five credit. To what to my understanding of up to, it didn't say you must have a 5 credits, or you must
have a certificate.
You must have a certificate.
But that is schools. That is
up to.
Okay, certificate. That means there must be a certificate.
Up to.
Yeah. But there must be a certificate.
Up to school certificate.
Yeah. That means you must have
school
a certificate
level.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, in that direction, because that was where we are having a major concern. And another clause there that from the history of Nigeria that have given us so much backwardness, especially in our public sectors, is that equivalent that was attached there.
Equivalent attached, yeah.
Made that work in Nigerian Port Authority. And he made a mention of some important fact. He said then, during recruitment, when they will be looking for most of the applicants from the south are struggling to make WAEC, to make credit, somebody from the north, one of them move from the north, will go to a Malam that has a Arabic school and get and pull a certificate there. It's equivalent. It was acceptable then.
Yeah, and during that time,
and he will get a job.
Okay,
and that's why you see most of the you see it became an issue then that you can, when you come to a sector, you can see all northerners, and at the same time you realize that the sector or that public service structure is dying down. No work is going on.
No work is going on
because you make somebody a head of a civil servant and is not competent.
Okay, with Chidi, let's
those are the foundational issues that we have.
The foundational issue. Let's go back to pre-1960.
Okay.
Let me go that far. Now, if you remember, the northerners were not really educated. I'm not trying to like they had this system of, and that's why direct rule was easy to combine in the north.
Yeah.
If you come back to the Yoruba area, they were kind of educated, you understand? So it was, we had the, and the Igbo area. So now there's this, and like, over the years, we have what we call, even I went to a federal government college, you understand? And we have what we call the merit system, you understand? And we have what they call the quota system, just to encourage those in the north to... Educational, thank you. You understand? And we have what the catchment area and stuff like that. So Nigeria has way in the past been so divided in that aspect. You understand? Just to encourage those up there to be able to, like, you know, go to school to get an education. You understand? And like to just make the system much more evenly around the country. So that has been the bottom line. Where you go to the public office, you see different kind of from one tradition. And if you remember too, in the Middle East, I'm sorry, we have a caller. Can we just go answer this caller? Good morning and welcome to Omega Studio.
Yeah, good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Actually, I'm in Nigeria.
Oh, okay. You're calling from Nigeria?
Yes, exactly.
What's your name?
So my name is Comrade Eniola Joshua.
Oh, Comrade Eniola Joshua, how are you, sir? Very, very Comrade Eniola is very, very influential in the youth aspect. I thank you for joining us in this discussion. And please, first of all, can we know what's going on in Nigeria? How is the situation like in Nigeria?
Yes, thank you so much. The situation is looking, at least it started quite coordinatedly across the country. I'm speaking from the Federal Capital Territory.
Okay, Abuja.
We had voters come out, and where we had, accreditation started, but of course, like you must have seen or read earlier today, in the President's Village, the card reader couldn't work, and this was a reflection of what was happening in some other locations. While the PDP candidates, of course, the sitting president had challenges for his accreditation, he had to go back home and come back to be accredited. We had a situation whereby the APC presidential candidate, General Muhammadu Buhari, was able to successfully get accredited. So we had challenges of, when the city president having a challenge of being accredited, it raises questions as to whether ordinary Nigerians will have problems being accredited. And unfortunately, our fears came true when we began to confirm at pockets of locations, even in the FCT where I am, and even in other parts of the country, people have had challenges using the card reader to get accredited.
Okay, Eniola, we asked, Eniola is calling from Abuja. Eniola is in Abuja, not Lagos, sir. But Eniola, earlier, when Mr. Olookere called from Nigeria also to give us an update of the election in Nigeria, and he told us that the reason why the card reader had challenges was that probably the INEC official never removed the screening cover for the card readers. Is that true? Can we confirm that from you, sir?
That was actually one of the reasons.
Okay.
And it was one information that been flying around the social media about a certain staff of a certain consulting firm who went to queue and decided to check and discovered that the film was still there for one incident. And it just, the story is so terrible and it has been circulating. I myself have received several messages. But the reality on ground is that there are some challenges either with the training of the personnel manning the card readers or with the card readers. That's the reality. The film is just one incident, and even if it is one of the reasons, we should not just make it a blanket thing and put it on the film, which we agree that it was one of the incidents. But it shows that definitely the postponement of the election the first time was in order, in the sense that the INEC chairman had given us the impression that he was really ready for the election, but if we are having some of these challenges now, we know that it should have been worse then. And this is part of the what may end up becoming legal issues where Nigerian voters are being selectively disenfranchised. So I want us to look at exploit from the other angle. Because even that I am monitoring the election, I ought to be voting. And I will not take it lightly if I'm deprived of exercising my mandate, what I have to pick a leader. So I want us to understand from that perspective that the Nigerian voters were already, the INEC chairman laid a template for either candidates that lose to challenge
the question and the result,
because it will become a situation whereby my supporters were strategically deprived of participating in these elections. And at that time, we will not be having that people could not open the film or anything. That would not be an excuse. So it's a great indictment to the hard work, I would say, of Professor Atani Jega.
Okay.
Thank you very much for that candid observation. And like rightly said, there are so many challenges around that system. It's the first time we're using a tool to say, but I think they should have done a thorough job before now to sensitize the officials on how to go about that business, because this is very, very critical and crucial to the success of the election and the credibility, so to say. And we really appreciate your input.
Okay, Eniola, could you kindly tell us about the aspect of violence? How have you recorded any violence in any of these places in Nigeria?
So far, we have only gotten verified reports of some level of violence explosion in Enugu, but I would say is still unverified as we speak. But generally speaking, the elections have been calm as expected. What we are concerned about is the reaction to the announcement of the results. So that is where we are expecting the government to be very strategic in. Nigerians, this is the first time we're having two candidates running head-to-head. And we're having a very challenging election. The implication is that both sides believe that their candidates are qualified, have done everything in order to win. For instance, General Muhammadu Buhari has never gone to campaign across all the parts of Nigeria in the entire political life. General Muhammadu Buhari has never been rebranded, has never dressed in other cultures, attires, and the rest, but he has been able to do it, which to his supporters gives him a right to, that there's nothing that will stop him from returning. To the supporters.
Hello. We lost Eniola Joshua, so we'll probably get him back. You heard what he was saying. He was trying to tell us what's going on in Nigeria and everything going on. You understand, so far so good. There have been no violence, but they had unconfirmed report of bomb blast in Enugu, and I saw that on my Facebook and my Twitter. Yeah. And it's unfortunate that this is happening, but so far so good. The corridor has failed in some parts, and we are still going back to what we started earlier on before. But that was a situation report from Abuja, Nigeria. Can we just play it before? Hello. Hello.
Yes, I'm reconnected back.
Okay, comrade. Okay, we have comrade Eniola Joshua from back on the line from Abuja, and he was giving us the breakdown of the elections in Nigeria. So please, could you continue where we stopped from, sir?
Yes, thank you so much. I was saying that when you have an election that is so closely, you have two candidates that are so close, in order, you may be having a joint government, a government of national unity, which in this case is not going to apply in Nigeria, where we have winner take all. So the implication is that a large percentage of Nigerians are going to feel that their choice was, the candidates they wanted was not taken or did not win, and it's going to be something that will be emotional to them. Moved wrongly, I must say, or maybe moved to react, and this means that to lay down proper procedures in place to prevent the occurrence of violence just after the results of the elections has been announced.
Thank you, Eniola. It boils down to question we were asked earlier: how ready was INEC actually in all of this?
Yes. Now it's not just INEC, I must say.
Okay.
Talking about how ready are the security agencies, how ready is the military to be able to respond to whatever challenge. Because even if the elections, once they announce the election, even if it is
Hello. We lost him. Oh, is he online? Okay, we lost him. He'll definitely come back because he's giving us the breakdown of the elections in Nigeria and how it's going.
A major thing, one of the things he said that that is very, very critical is most times it's not just the election proper. It's not during the election that we see violence.
It's a post-election, yes.
When the result is being announced.
It's been announced, yeah.
And now with all these incidents and lapses arising from the card reader stuff and all that is okay. We still have Eniola on the line. Yeah. Hello, Eniola.
Comrade Eniola. Comrade.
Yes.
Can you hear us?
Please go ahead.
Yes. Okay, thank you very much. I was talking about the challenge that we're going to face in terms of the role of our security agencies now.
Okay.
Upon announcement, INEC's duty ends when the election result has been announced.
Okay.
And whoever has lost is supposed to go through the tribunals as stipulated by the Nigeria Electoral Act and the prevailing laws of the land. But the issue being on ground is that upon announcement of the result, the government must, through the security agencies, must put in place measures to prevent the loss of lives of Nigerians. And that is so key, beginning from the youth corps that conduct the elections, because we recall with so much sorrow what happened to some of our comrades in 2011 who died in the process of discharging this kind of service to their fatherland. And that is our concern, that the military has said they are ready, but we want to see that readiness. Incidentally, the level of military presence that we are expected to see in the FCT or in some other part of Nigeria is not heavy. We are expected to see heavy military presence, but we don't know whether it's being strategic or they are also working in line with what we are saying, that they are waiting so that towards the announcement of the results, there will be heavy military presence.
No, I thought, sorry, Eniola, sorry for cutting you short. Sorry for cutting you short. I thought there was a court injunction in Lagos that said the military should not get to where the elections are. I thought we had that.
Okay, I'm not aware of that injunction, but that will explain a lot of things. But the reality is that the military is not responding in the polling booths. We have the police officers there. The most violence will take place. People that are not happy will take to the street, will be looking for how to destroy properties. And that's where the military comes in. And any court injunction that says people should be attacked and the military should watch by, the military will, of course, be asked and empower this. And the president has already empowered them to be part of this process. And therefore, I believe that they will be part of the process, especially where there's an incident or breakdown of law and order during this or after the elections. Okay,
Eniola, there was one question we had earlier on. That was the youth's participation in politics, and I know as a comrade and as a youth empowerment leader, and with your organization that is across virtually almost all the states in Nigeria, how can we incorporate the youths in Nigerian politics, and why don't we have a youth leader now? I mean, why don't we have a youth that has come up to say, okay, I want to run for the post of the presidency? You understand? Please, can you kindly explain to our viewers here in Atlanta and around the United States and around the world that since you have a first-hand information about that, why are the youths not in politics, sir?
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. The major challenge we have is the cost of politics in Nigeria. The cost of politics is just so much. And we have a situation whereby the youth are not empowered. They have been strategically, cut off from the flow of the economy, such that when we talk about youth participating as election town, youth participating in certain actions, because the system has cut them off from what should have naturally come to them through the dignity of labor. So, in my opinion, Nigerian youth have been robbed of the capacity to gain economic independence through the dignity of labor. The implication is that they have been subdued and cowed and subjected by the system and by the elders to begin to take handouts. And when you take handouts, you cannot ask the man who is in position to come, because you feel indebted to him.
To him, yeah.
But he's not giving you what to eat. He's not giving you what to take care of your family. So they have robbed the Nigerian youth of the dignity of labor. That's number one. Number two, there is also the issue of lack of preparedness and seamless coordination among youth leaders in Nigeria. The problem now is that most youth leaders are out for personal glory, and they are lacking the ability or the capacity to gainfully network and project one of them. And this has been affecting the youth movement for quite a while. You have youth leaders that will go back. Of course, it's still linked to the first one, because they'll go back, collect something, and then begin to say a different thing. So the Nigerian youth have not come to speak with one voice. And this is very key. This is the fourth now, and the other was an external force. This was internal part of Nigerian youth leaders. And the third one is also internal, meaning that many people that design leadership have failed to prepare themselves for the project of leadership. Leadership is not what you stumble on. It's not the day you get elected that you start studying the Constitution of Nigeria. You have to understand the Constitution even before you want to vie for any position. You have to understand the system. So what we have are people that desire power without understanding how to play the game, without understanding what it takes to play the game. So it's the accumulation of this, and more so when the people are not economically empowered, you find out that the youth leaders are yet to find their voice. And the few ones that are supposed to be the few thousands of dollars or the few millions of naira that they are handed out and are given to them, and then they lose focus on what the youth can do in terms of the new Nigeria, in terms of where Nigeria ought to be, and in terms of who we are by our identity, understanding very well that it was young men that led to the emancipation of Nigeria from the British rule. Understanding very well that the generation, our generation, it is our time to move the nation to the next level. But we have a situation where a leader, when we keep going to the archives of the past to resurrect leaders, to rebrand them, and to need to project them into the future. So that's what we're doing in Nigeria. And the youth need to, firstly, get economically empowered. Because who has the money, whoever it is with the money, determines a lot of things. And as they say, he who plays the piper determines the music.
That's
so
true.
We're having those elders determining the music of the who gets empowered in Nigeria.
Eniola, thank you so very much. Please, if you have any new information, and if you hear anything, I mean, we're going to be here for the next. We're going to be here for a couple of hours. Kindly get back to us. I'll definitely get back to you, sir. Thank you very much for the insights.
All right.
And we will definitely go back into that and analyze it further. Thank you so very much, Eniola. That was very, very insightful.
All right. Thank you for having me. Thank you for the opportunity to share.
You're welcome, bro.
Thank you, comrade. Yeah, that was Comrade Eniola Joshua from Nigeria. He spoke everything. He said it all.
I was just impressed. One thing I just observed, like, you realize if you listen critically what he said and what we were saying, you realize that the minds of we youth are the same.
Are the same, yeah.
But the problem we lack is this same coordination. Let's have a comment.
Good afternoon. Welcome to the Omega Studio.
Hello.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. How are you?
I'm fine, sir. How are you, sir?
I'm good.
Please, what's your name and where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Atlanta, Georgia.
Okay.
Yes, I've been watching the show live here on my laptop. I mean, I'm so impressed, and I called in to ask a couple of questions and see if I can get some answers.
Okay, sir.
In a key, I wonder why it is very, very crucial in a very crucial election like this in Nigeria, why there were no debates by all the candidates that were vying for the presidency, especially the presidency.
Mm-hmm.
There were no debates. And I am so surprised that they didn't do this up to the election day in hand. How were they able to sell their manifestos to the general populace? Is it only during campaigns that they didn't do this? Because the debates, they were able to, ask themselves questions, and then people ask questions to, pressing issues that are affecting the country. When we hear from them, when the country hears from them, they're going to be able to choose. Even that's where media will be used, will be an opportunity to sway some dancing minded people that are on the fence, to switch their votes. But up to today, I didn't hear of any debate. Was it deliberate or?
There was a debate. There was actually a debate, sir.
Hello?
Yeah, there was a debate. They had a debate last week, last week. But the presidential candidate of the APC was not in attendance, sir. There was a debate. Jonathan was there, and the other his political opponent, opposition, contestants, they were all there, sir.
Aside in the person of Buhari that wasn't there.
Oh, so somebody was absent?
Buhari wasn't there, sir. It was a debate among the other political parties. We have about 14 contestants that are vying for presidency in Nigeria.
Did you say 14 contestants?
Yes, sir. Well, I gave the names earlier on today, sir. We have 14.
Yeah, I just said why not just sleeping, man. I know I'm late, but if you had to catch up with the things you said in the past.
Okay,
Yeah,
we'll probably go back to it in the course of time now. We'll definitely go back to it, sir. Yes, there was a debate. They had a debate, and if you look, like I was following the election with keen interest. We had people like Jonathan, President Jonathan. He campaigned virtually in almost all the states in Nigeria. We had General Muhammad Buhari, who also campaigned in virtually almost all the states in Nigeria. And they were talking about what they will do, what they intend to do, and the ones that have been there, like President Jonathan said, if we re-elect him, he's ready to do more. So this way, they were all over.
Yeah,
you understand?
Just that they didn't have this. You know, it was like you rightly pointed out. It was a major concern, but the electorate that wanted to get a first-hand information from the aspirants, especially on a one-on-one debate.
One-on-one debate. What's
that wasn't it was done last week, right?
Yeah, it was done. The debate was done last week.
Buhari was the only person that wasn't actually in that debate, but all other contestants were there, and it was an interesting one.
And then what they did again, there is something we call the APC started what they call the town hall meeting, which even President Jonathan also had some town hall meeting, because he had a town hall meeting with this Nigerian artist.
Yeah.
You understand? Then Jonathan, the APC had a town hall meeting. A town hall meeting is just by getting closer to the people. You understand? And like telling them, introducing your manifesto to them. You understand? So the two political parties really did a good job in getting to the electorate, which I commend both parties for that. Which with other parties too. Like I think one other party also had that town hall meeting and debate also. But like they did that, they tried to get to the electorate, because this policy is is going to be very close. It's going to be close to call.
So thank you for that observation, and we're also trying to make it as a point of duty to our leaders in the near future that debate is actually where you come and tell us you can on your own you can tell us the word of things you want to do and what you don't want to do. But I believe that place is at a point where people can hold you liable to your words. People can hold you to your words. And the point of that debate, and your opponent will have an opportunity to ask you questions on your policies and your objectives. And it's very, very vital in every election, in any country, in any setting. But I want to encourage more of that. It shouldn't have been even a one-time thing. It's something that all pressure groups can put up, and media houses, and as a candidate, and you have to respect the wish of the people to present yourself and let the people know why you want to serve them, because you can't just force yourself on us. Thank you so very much.
Thank you so very much for calling, sir.
Yes, sir. Yeah, and one more thing, this area in Borno State where the federal troops, recap cities.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Are they going to vote in this election?
Yes, because
they vote today.
They'll definitely vote, sir. Yes, sir.
How would they vote when they're not everybody run away? How would they vote?
Well, INEC has made some specification for them to vote, and like obviously they'll find a way of voting, sir.
Basically, we believe that if the people in that community return back to their place, they'll be able to do that, because that was the part of the reason why some people are agitating them, that if you say people in the north, especially in those war-torn areas, have been registered to vote, and people in the south are not registered, then how credible is INEC in the registration process? So if INEC gave us that their word that those people were actually registered, and we expect to see voting in that direction. I know we have correspondence in those areas. There are people, independent observers, monitoring those areas. If nothing happens, we're definitely going to get that information. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. Okay. Thank you, man. I appreciate you guys, man. You guys are doing a very, very good job, right? I'm so impressed.
Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Please stay tuned.
I thank my guy, Kingsley.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, sir.
You have a good day. Bye-bye.
You too. Okay. Talking about the debate, one thing the APC party in what they said was that the debate was being biased, because they claim that they've given the the let's get to Lloyd. Good morning, sir. Okay, we lost that caller. I want to, because like they said, that the debate was being biased. That they've already given the questions and answers to Jonathan. They've given the question to Jonathan. You understand? To the presidential candidate of President Jonathan, and the APC said they were not going to be a part of that. And like Buhari came up again. We have Lloyd calling. Hello, good morning, sir. Good morning. And
welcome. This is Lloyd. Can you hear me?
Yeah, hey, Lloyd. How are you doing, sir?
Yeah, all is well, and I'm most grateful for the opportunity to participate in the World Omega Nigeria election 2015.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you so much for everything that you guys are doing. I'm speaking from Atlanta, Georgia.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Lloyd.
Thank you. Welcome, Mr. Lloyd.
Yeah, actually, I was listening to your earlier segment about the youth, the issues that we're having about youth unemployment in the country. But the only comment I have at this moment is that for me personally, I share a very optimistic opinion for Nigeria.
Yes, sir.
Ongoing, really, Nigeria and Africa at large. Reason why I feel that I have that opinion about Nigeria and Africa is simply because of there's a lot of we live in an information age, and there's a lot of information that's actually out there. There's so many social tools out there for people to know exactly what's actually happening within the various communities and, of course, worldwide. And as it concerns the youth employment in Nigeria, I think the biggest issue that the country will be facing at the moment now is not even just the election itself, is this youth unemployment.
Yes, sir.
It's a very important thing, really, simply because even in the West, you look at England, look at some parts of mainland Europe, Spain, Portugal, the biggest issue they have over there, and even here in the United States of America, is youth unemployment.
Yes.
I think the key thing is that at times I wish that the nation itself will have almost like a general forum, a grand master plan to determine what to do with youth unemployment in the country.
Okay.
For me, I have a lot of optimism about the election result. The only key thing, the only thing that worries me is it's been mentioned that Buhari, the other candidate to Jonathan, is actually the other candidate is he's not feeling too well, he's ill.
Okay.
I think they have to devise means to determine whether a candidate is actually fit to run for office. Okay. Because to run for office in any country is extremely important. I don't see how someone should be running for an election when he's almost he's not really fit health-wise to run for an election. And I think.
But he has claimed he's always said he's fit like a fiddle. So I mean, he has claimed he's not ill, and like he's doing okay. And like I know I was young. I was really young when he was the head of state. Then they said that's how he talks. He talks slowly. He's not a fast talker. So, but I've read a lot about him. So
okay, I think. Okay.
Okay, let's hear you, because like we were saying, that I don't think from the INEC point of view or regulations, there is no
age.
There is nothing to determine. There is no measure there or criteria to say they have to do a health check to know how healthy you are to run for a political office. So on that ground, we don't have any question to him, so to say.
If he says it's not, if he says it's okay.
Yeah, they take you by your word. If what happens to Yar'Adua and end up happening again, that's unfortunate. So we don't wish any person dead. He should live and see the dream he has for Nigeria materialize.
That's if he becomes the president.
That if he becomes.
Jonathan is the incumbent president, and he still has the incumbency, what they call the incumbency factor. So that may play against Buhari. But we'll talk about that later on. Thank you very much, sir, for calling. We really appreciate you calling in, sir.
Okay, thanks immensely, and you guys are doing a wonderful job.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. So he's talked about employment, how to tackle employment, how to tackle youth employment, and he also talked about the health on youth unemployment. That's true.
Okay, let me take it from where Comrade spoke when he was talking about we're saying it then that much part of the problem of youth leadership or youth involvement in politics in Nigeria is basically like we talked about. We've spoken about fear or intimidation of not being hurt or not being cared in the process. We've talked about the youth not having a united voice. We are not coordinated. And all these things, I like the way he put it. He said it boils down to dignity of labor.
Of labor, yes.
And that brings in unemployment. Because like I said before, if the easiest way to enslave a man is to rob him of means of livelihood.
Yes.
If I want to control you and take your means of livelihood, I will get you crawling and begging at any point in time. And that is what our leaders over the years have succeeded in doing. And that with that, they keep the youth as a tool.
Yeah.
Like a puppet.
A puppet.
They become a puppet master just to play the tools, the youth around to achieve what they want. Even the so-called youth organizations, you see most of them going in the line of either a political party or a candidate or just because of the financial gain.
The financial gain, yeah.
If somebody said that he is this, he is that, they are agitating for this, they are agitating for that, the moment they get an allocation from a particular party,
yes.
you see their objective, their agenda change. You can see most times the leadership of that youth organization breaks.
Yeah.
These people know. Remember when IBB said the youth of this nation
are not ready.
They are failed.
Yes,
you know,
they are
most
failed,
of us were calling for his head.
Yeah, I was one of them calling for his head.
Bring him and kill him. Bring him and kill him. But when you start analyzing those things, you begin to like, okay, let's check the youth that have involved in government. There was this guy that was a former Speaker of the House.
Isn't Nabas?
Not Nabas is a young guy. The last one during Basanjo regime.
Okay, Bankole, the major Bankole.
He was the youth. He was vibrant. He was eloquent.
But look at what
happened.
At
the end of it, we are hearing issues. Him buying Nitel, buying a house worth billions.
And he was involved in some financial.
So it doesn't speak well of even the youth. So when it goes a long way to validate such statement by men like IBB saying that the youth of Nigeria are not ready. Because
I second that too.
If what Comrade said, the people that fought for the destiny of this nation, independence of this nation, they were not. It was, aside Zeke that was 42 years then.
They were all young. Yeah.
All of them were below 42.
Below 42, yeah.
All of them were below 42, and they fought this. And now most of us are in our 30s and our 40s, and we can't even have. We don't even have a say.
So what do we tell the youth now? I mean, that are listening to us. I mean, what we can all say is it's our country, man. We got to take it. We have to take it.
That unpreparedness is also there. Most times let us come to the point where we start valuing credibility, so to say, not just by mere words.
Mediocrity, yeah. We just
and at the same time, value things. Since we realize that there's so much so that government cannot provide for us. In terms of job, I told you what happens when seeking an employment. Okay, that aside,
I want to go to that job aspect. You saw what happened during the youth, is it the NIS?
National Immigration.
Yes. That people died, and do they pay for application? Because some people were claiming that they paid money. I mean, they paid to get the application, and you saw how it was. It was overcrowded. I mean, couldn't the government, and if it's a democrat, if Nigeria was really, really ready, and if Nigeria, that's the head of that department would have resigned. But I heard it's tomorrow. I heard it's still there tomorrow.
That kind of person shouldn't occupy that, because most times there are ways to. You can't just.
Yeah, I mean, you can do it online. You
can't just bring up millions of
unemployed youths,
candidates, millions of applicants to come and apply for a particular job.
I saw some with babies
in stadiums.
No,
there's measures to streamline it. You can do an online test. You can even I've written a CBN test before. It was regional. It was zoned. Go here and do this. Go there and do that. At the end, it's being streamlined until you get to the peak of people that actually need it. Those are strategies to do these things. At least there are professionals in human resources around that you can consult. That's why I say most times it's not just about being. Most of the people you see heading this process, like I said before, the problem of this hour is equivalent. Most of the people you are seeing there, they are not professionals. They're not qualified. They're just there occupying political posts.
Yes.
Because I'm a political affiliate. It's just a payback. You can see somebody. Sorry to say it, I wouldn't mention his name, but a particular minister of education has said in Nigeria after he resigned that he doesn't, even as a minister of education, he doesn't know how to use a computer. He said it that he was saying it as a joke, sharing a joke in a social gathering, that even when his children were using computer, he'd be saying that, wow, this children at this age, this is a computer age, that he doesn't even know how to use a computer. But he was a minister of education when they were deploying, when they were trying to deploy computers in an institution doing IT. Do you get so? that tells you a man of such,
extent, yeah.
how to what extent can he go in giving a quality?
I understand. Yes,
bringing
giving a
quality
good
in
quality in
that
the educational
ministry.
field. Yeah, in the educational
Okay, so
field.
he boils and he goes on and on in so many other sectors. If he doesn't do that, if he can't do that, then he mustn't head that position. It happened when this guy was talking about our people has been disfranchised. The youth has been particularly robbed of their right.
Of their rights, yeah.
To even speak. And so to say, if we've been robbed of our right, what else do you have to do? Everybody is looking for how to survive. The rate of crimes you are seeing everywhere, and this is all part of it. But if we can start taking our destinies into our own hand, if we can't come together as one and demand what we need from the government, we'll continue to remain. I remember during the fuel increase, sometime in 2011 or thereabouts.
Why is it the fuel subsidy?
Yeah, the fuel subsidy removal. In as much as the government presented it was something good for it, but what I enjoyed about it, I saw
how people came out. Yes, how they demonstrated.
For days, people were there. People were bringing food. People were bringing drinks.
Yeah.
Those are the kind of revolution we want.
When
the youth will come out and say,
"It's my country."
In this country, nobody goes to work. Nobody does anything. No country, no banks opens until this man resigns. Like maybe the person that is in charge of that immigration services job.
And it just went under the carpet.
Until this man resigns. If he doesn't resign, we go on the street. If people do that and get us and succeed, other people will sit up. But I think, if in the process of that and people are getting all tips from one corner and everybody is going down, even in that part, during the part of that first subsidy crisis, people started saying, when those leaders started calling for people to go back, people say, okay, they've settled them. They've made noise and made noise and made noise and been settled. Now they're telling us to go back, even when we are all out to push to the end. But that is the Nigerian.
That's Nigerian for you.
Yeah. You were talking about the issue of debate.
Yes, debates. Yeah, when we talk about debates, yes, the presidential debates. Actually, the APC candidate said he's not going. Number one, he said the first time they said because the people that are organizing the debate are affiliated with the ruling party. And the party in charge, so they're not going to participate in the debate. And obviously, they've given President Jonathan, the questions. You understand? And if you remember, 4 years ago, Buhari was in the party called the CPC, and he was in a debate where Jonathan wasn't there. You understand? So, like, what the APC did now is like, instead of us going for a debate, let's go to states. Let's meet stakeholders in different states.
But that debate, I think it was just last week when they finished most of their state campaign. And
yes, but normally they're meant to have a debate earlier on. But like the first one didn't happen. You understand? Because of the allegations and counter-allegations.
The truth about the matter is just like we politicize everything. I remember when we were in school, question paper leaks. and we still write exams. Remember that we still. I've been in exam once. I've been in exam once when. Before 30 minutes, exam that was meant to be 2 hours, 30 minutes, guys are standing up and submitting their answers. I was like, man, what's wrong with me? Is it that I don't know anything anymore, or is it I don't have
I know, and we call it, what's wrong?
And when this, I was just wondering, say, guys, I was just looking at this guy was just, after just doing 20 minutes, he walks up and submit. And at the end, what am I trying to bring out? But at the end, in that course, I still have a 4 point over 5. Because, so what am I saying? That they saw the result. They saw the question before the result.
Before the result.
I'm not making any excuses. It's possible. They can give the question to anybody. But what I'm saying that...
But they'll attack him.
If I know what I want to come and say, and the question you want to ask, or what I want to do, you ask me a question, I will say, like, when that question paper was presented, because I've read,
you knew
at least
it.
The ones I knew, I answered.
You answered.
And I still passed.
But the ones you don't, the ones that they have seen, he will be able to answer it the more.
Yeah, the more. But let's not fail to realize the fact that even at that, like most of the time, most time, there are also questions that I can. There's opportunity for me to ask you a question or to fault what you are saying. So let's not. I realize that there's so many irregularities all over. Let us not just use
and let me tell you, this election,
so that we can clear all doubt as if. It's not BRC. Let it not be.
I know this election is so. It has been. They have what they did a wrong thing. They would have brought in religion into this election.
You
Because
can't
religion,
take that away from
I know you can't take that,
from
but like they were using it to campaign. It's like a certain political party was using religion to campaign. Oh, don't vote for this person in the north, in the south because his deputy is a Christian, or don't vote for this person in the north because his deputy is a Muslim. You don't do that. I mean, irrespective of anything, your religion should be your religion. You should separate religion from politics. But Nigeria has, this election has been so...
We have come to a place where religion, ethnicity, culture, social affiliation has intertwined to become part of the politics.
But
so I don't know how to get that,
because now
tangled. Yes, it's a major challenge, and it's going to take generations. Because I realize even in there are some social group we have. Even in my classmates in Unilag, we have a group we discuss. It's a good forum that we can sit down and chat and discuss and be happy like brothers and sisters. We help each other when somebody have a problem, or a member of us. You wouldn't know there's a Yoruba, there's Igbo, there's Hausa. Somebody have a problem, before you know it, everybody is paying him money from here and here. But because of this election, you can see abuses. You can see causes. Some people have withdrawn from the group.
And look at what happened.
People know more.
People are, okay, they are insulting themselves, but look at what happened when they were doing their... Look at the two presidential candidates. They were there hugging themselves. We have a caller coming in, please. Good morning. Welcome to Omega Studio.
Yeah, this is Kirian. How you doing?
How you doing, sir?
Thanks, Mr. Kirian.
Yeah, my name is Kirian. I'm calling from Atlanta.
Yeah, Mr. Kirian, thank you for calling in. Please, let's hear your view about the whole thing.
Yes, first of all, I want to thank you guys for what you're doing. You're doing a wonderful job.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right. See, I'm pretty worried about the credibility of this election.
Okay.
And my reason being that the INEC, from the information we have, the INEC said that about between 90 to 98% of the voters' cards in the northern part of the country have been collected, even in the areas that have been deserted because of the problem of Boko Haram.
Yeah.
So it makes me wonder, how can such places collect their voters'
PVCs,
to the tune, PVC to the tune of 90 to 98%. But if you go to the south, where it is relatively calm without any problem, we are being told that about 60 to 65% of the people, at most 70, have collected their PVC card. So it makes me wonder about the credibility of the election and what INEC is doing.
Okay.
And secondly, I'm one of those people that believe that regardless of this election, whoever wins is not going to change the problem of Nigeria. Because Nigeria has an endemic systemic problem that has to be solved by a change of a system rather than change of a person.
Yes, sir.
In those two parties, be it PDP or ADC, all those people, they are just the same people. Most people with Buhari are the people that left PDP to be with him. Probably because they were denied of position, or probably because they couldn't win an election in PDP, they switched party to, for their own good, for the good of the country. So regardless of whoever wins, I don't think anything is
going to change. True.
What I'm looking at is a change of a system. If this whoever wins can get together and implement the result of the constitutional conference that Nigeria had, it will change a lot of things in Nigeria. And it's going to help to stimulate healthy competition between the regions, like it was before we started this new federal system. Everybody can agree that our system is broken. The only thing that can save the country is a healthy competition. If people from the east see that the southern part of the country or the western part of the country have electricity, we will ask our leaders, why are we not having electricity? Until we fix a systemic problem, the country will not move forward. Buhari, in those days, when he was in the military, might be a very disciplined, straightforward person. And with this democracy we have today, the democracy that we practice, everybody, almost all of them are corrupt. There's no way whoever wins can run the country the way he wants. So it will be difficult, regardless the result of the election, it will be difficult for the country to move forward from where we are today. That's my opinion.
Yes, sir, you're very correct. And and the opinion of many other people.
Thank you.
We really appreciate you calling
Mr.
in.
Kiran.
We really appreciate you calling
Thank
in.
you.
Yes,
We're going to deliberate further in those points that you actually raised, and please stay tuned and also call in if you have further questions or further contributions. Thank you so very much.
Thank you so very much, sir.
I will, and I thank you all for what you do. That's wonderful.
Thank you, sir. Credibility of INEC, right?
Yeah, that is still like we can't stop talking that, because that is what is likely to still bring issues after this election.
But what happened? Let me explain to you. And INEC explained that issue of the 98% in the northern part of Nigeria. This way, in that instance, was that people were over there. People had already moved, and they've already picked up their PVCs. But before this was before the crisis in the northern part, in especially Borno and those places. You understand? And another thing is, like, most of them moved. You understand? Some people move. Some people died. Some people are apolitical. They don't want to be into politics no more. I mean, they're tired of what's going on. And some people are just yearning for change because they feel, okay, if another man is going for this post, let's pick our PVCs and vote and get the northern man in there. So they really want to vote. That's why you see the high percentage of PVC collected in that region. And INEC chairman came out to explain all this to the people.
But that's why people are questioning. That's why some people say have issue. Like people, some rational mind will act. Is it that they finished registration in the north
first before they came out in the south?
Zoning, maybe did a zonal registration, finished in northeast, the north central, the northwest, and before coming down to the south. Because if we're having a uniform registration going on in different parts of the country at the same time, we believe that the south, that is relatively peaceful, will have a the higher volume of registered voters.
But what you should ask yourself: are they going to pick up their PVCs? Are they ready to vote?
I have some people. Even as last week, we are in INEC office demanding. Even in Lagos, some of my friends were saying, even when they shifted the election, most of them said, okay, now that we can go get our PVC card, we can get it, because they said they got to a time INEC told them that they will post it to them. And quick, they know that this is just a mere just to pacify them so that they go home, because which postal system are you going to post it to? They told them that they should go home, they will post it to their addresses. Most of them didn't.
But let's not forget that it was this same Jega that conducted a 2011 election. So what's different now?
The 2011 was just a manual.
But he just said he's going to. I know it was manual, but he said he's going to perfect on the election. And we have Lloyd again on the phone. Hello, sir. Hello.
Hello, Lloyd.
Hello, good morning.
Yeah,
good morning.
Thanks for calling.
Yeah, something just came through my mind. I'm most interested to know your opinions.
Okay.
Like a few months ago, I'm not sure how long ago it was anyway, a few months ago, there was a period that they had a general council meeting.
Yeah.
In Nigeria. I'm not sure what the right wordings are. I'm not sure what the outcome was, and I'm not sure the impacts it's supposed to be having towards our election. Because there's been a lot of info saying that there is a possibility that the nation may divide into 2 or 3.
Okay.
I don't know the opinions you might have.
That's the national conference. Are you talking about the national conference, sir?
Yes, sir. Yeah, that's what I was referring to.
Okay.
I'm not sure whether there has been any important.
On that,
implement it.
On that, the national conference was successfully concluded, and their report has been submitted to the presidency and the necessary bodies. And Jonathan, in one of his speech the other day, said as soon as he gets re-elected,
he's going to
that
implement
most of those issues that were addressed there are the fundamental problems that kept Nigeria where we are today. That's going to be his
address. He's going to address it when it comes.
Point. He'll be working from those agendas. But in the area of division of Nigeria, he made it quite clear before the conference started that is just an aspect that they were not given the authority to decide on. Okay. That they can deliberate on any other issue related to Nigeria, both state police, be it anything, be it federation, account, for allocation, and all the rest.
And also creation of more states too. They clamor for creation of more states.
Anything they can discuss it but the issue of division of Nigeria, that one shouldn't be deliberated. It's not among what they will do. So there is no fear in that based on the deliberation in the national conference.
Okay. I'm really happy about that because the reason why I said that, I know that you see the importance of having a debate prior to election, and of course, most importantly, having, like here in America, we have something called a town hall meeting.
Yeah.
Where I think it'd be so imperative actually for the various candidates to actually know what people on the main floor actually have in mind to ask them.
Yeah.
So I think to a certain extent, a lot of people who are there in Nigeria are quite they're a bit disturbed about the stability of the country itself. I think most importantly, I remember a few years ago when the information minister came here and I asked him that the biggest issue that the country faces technically is security, especially coming in from the north.
Mm-hmm.
And now, before you know it, now this was even years before Boko Haram came into existence.
Yeah.
So now we're not having problems about that. And if I asked that question when he came here in Atlanta, and they told me and others who ask questions is that they'll when they get to Nigeria, they'll answer those questions and they'll send them back to us. And to me personally, that wasn't good enough.
Okay.
That's true.
Thank you so very much. Like you said, the issue of secession or division of Nigeria is not.
It's a no-no.
For now.
No, it's not negotiable.
It's not negotiable for many
happen.
parties. And Jonathan on his side promised that he's going to implement if he gets re-elected. And on the issue of violence and insecurity, it has been a major challenge in Nigeria. I might take a bit of time to read out the most major violence we've had in Nigeria from 60 to even around 2000. To know that where these things are coming from, that is not something that started today. It's just that our leaders over time have been playing blind to it. And the fact that most times if it doesn't affect somebody that is next to you, if it doesn't affect you, it is just a statistics. But we should bear in mind that beyond the statistical figure that 10 people died, their
lives.
People, breadwinners of families. These are hopes of families. These are
loved ones, brothers, sisters.
So like today, no case of violence has been reported apart from the bomb blast, though they say unconfirmed, that happened in Enugu. Before we were saying it, now it has done. Who would have imagined that there would be a blast in Enugu? Okay. So if we don't take the bull by the horn and fight this evil as a people and begin to play politics around it because it is not me, it doesn't affect me, it's happening up there. One day it's going to happen just right under your nose.
We don't pray it happens, but it can happen.
Nobody prays that, but it could be anything, because the way Nigeria is, and there is nobody, there is nothing to check who is who. Somebody can carry the bomb from an enter bus and come from Sokoto to River State. Nobody will dictate that, okay? But that is a major challenge we are having, the security thing. And I will.
Yeah, and
okay.
So, and I was going to input as well. I think one of the area of importance to me personally, and again, is the area of corruption. Okay. I don't know. The corruption is one of those things that can never be eradicated in any society, whether first world, third world, or second world. Those things will always be there, but the level of corruption in Nigeria
is just too much.
It's almost unbelievable. It's almost a cultural thing that everyone believes that corruption must be there,
like a lifestyle.
The nation, they must have a way to eradicate it, honestly, because I mean to whittle it down to as lowest level as I can do it, because you see the thing is that that's the main reason why, because any income that's lost can never be regained.
Oh yeah.
Because I've had a few friends of mine who were even talking about investing in Nigeria, in America here, and I said to myself, why don't you invest in the country? There's a lot of good that can come for a very strong, vibrant Nigeria, because wherever Nigeria goes, Africa goes.
That's true.
So we must have to find a way to eliminate corruption from the culture of the country, because a lot of people believe that corruption is the only way out. If you want to get a single job, they ask you, please come and meet me in this room number before. That thing annoys me a lot. Those kind of things must be eliminated.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your contribution, sir.
Mr. Lloyd. Like you said, those facts they are very, very predominant in Nigeria. I remember the case when I went to, somebody invited me that there is a job that came out when they floated this AMCON, Assets Management stuff.
Yeah.
And then they said they were doing the job by allocation, by state allocation.
State allocation, yeah.
That my state, they have allocation. So somebody invited me that I should come to Abuja for the test. I was so reluctant to go. So, okay, my elder brother encouraged me. He said, just go and see how it goes. Okay, I went. I went to Abuja, and the night, I took a flight to Abuja. The money I didn't even have enough, but I had just because he told me that the interview is the next morning. So if I go by bus, I can't meet up. So I had to take a flight and go to Abuja. When I got there, I had to stay in a hotel. He came. The guy that was said he's from the presidency, from the House of Assembly, blah blah blah. They have the connection where they're doing the interview. He was in Abuja that called me. So when I came, he told me that he needed to where to lodge. He doesn't have some fund.
The person that called you?
Yes.
Oh, God.
That's when I started subsiding foul play. Okay, I said, okay. I had to pay for a hotel for him. I paid a hotel room for him. And the night, he told me that he's going out for a party. If I'm interested, I said, no, I don't do night parties. They say, if you must live in this Abuja to do this job, you have to be moving around at night. I said, that is not my part. He said, okay. He moved. In the morning, he came back and told me that the job is the salary. He started telling me the salary structure, that he has met the guy, the people at the interview. They said, I don't no need for me to do interview, that if I just play by the rule, that I will get the job. I said, okay, what's the rule? He said, okay, the salary level is 450,000 monthly, but I have to give them 500,000 before they will give me the job. I said, okay. I said, I will give you 500,000. I will write you a post-dated check. As soon as I get the first salary, I give you. You take it.
That's true.
I said, I will even give you 1 million, 2 salaries. I was just looking at what they want to do.
They said, no.
I said, I will give you 1 million, but on the condition. I said, what's the condition? I said, I will write you a check of 4 million. I will post-date it. As soon as the job starts,
that's true.
Then,
smart.
Then you get it, and I will put a footnote behind the check. Blah blah blah. He said no. He said that what they need is just this one, that they show that there are so many people that are interested in the job. Blah blah blah. There's so many things around it. At the end, I realized that it was just scam. And I had an uncle that was in SS. I went to him. I met him. He gave me the number of the senator representing
his local his
constituency. The president of Senator Chris Anyang. He gave apparently his PA. One Mr. Emmanuel used to be somebody I know. We call him Judy White. Used to be somebody I know in Port Harcourt. So I had to put a call through him and said, see what is happening. If I had gotten that number, I wouldn't have gone to Abuja. See what is happening. I got there's a job. They said, who told me that? He said, don't mind them. They are fraud. You get. So they just want to.
It's so unfortunate.
So I spent over 90,000 in that trip to Abuja. Both my accommodation, my flight. Because the flight I didn't book on time. I had to pay like 35,000 all the rest. So it was both the money I gave the guy, I paid for his hotel bill and all the rest. So it was a case of everybody looking for opportunity to obtain.
Let me give you a scenario. Like I know you're still on the line, and like how corruption works in Nigeria. Even a retired person that is going to pick up his pension, his own money that is entitled to him, has to settle the secretary. Use that from your own personal money. You settle the secretary
before you get the
before you can even get your pension. Even if they're giving your pension, before your pension gets to you, you settle the secretary. You settle another person. You settle the person that gave you the pension. The person that is writing you a check. It's not meant to be. It's not meant to be. It's not meant to be like that in Nigeria, and so it's so unfortunate.
I remember one of my uncle about 20 years ago, going through this same process of having challenges collecting his pension. I was asking if people there 20 years ago were doing that. That means most of these people that are shouting today, my pension, we are part of those people still doing the same that did the same thing to them then. So most times you just begin to is it a case of people reaping where they sow? You get. So it's a major problem, Mr. Lloyd. And I think like what Hillary Clinton said, well, the time he came to Nigeria, he said a strong nation is not built by strong individuals, but by strong institutions.
Institutions, yeah.
Except we start building strong institutions in Nigeria, and then we can't get any headway in this thing we call corruption, because it is just like a culture in Nigeria. It's a culture in Nigeria that For you to get one of the or two things, you have to do this or that. Thank you, Mr. Lloyd.
Thank you, Mr. Lloyd, sir.
On hold all this.
Thank you, sir. Okay,
okay.
I have an organization. It's called Positive Nigeria that advocates for a corrupt-free society, women's rights, and everything. And it's so unfortunate that I was trying to put across. I spoke to some legislators over there. Then I had this friend. He used to be in the House of Representatives. He's an activist. His name is Dino Melaye. He came over to Atlanta. We spoke. I went to Nigeria. We talked a lot, and he was the house. It was a committee, one of the committee chair. And like I said, okay, fine. I'm bringing this thing. What do we need to do? I want to introduce in our school curriculum and a course that is on corruption.
Okay.
You understand that this is what you have to do. I mean, let's do the right thing. Corruption is bad. It should be a curriculum like how you have maths, English, IRK, CRK, all this. They should start teaching it from primary school. Anti-corruption. It should be a course. They should tell them what is the meaning of anti-corruption. So when it gets to that society, when the kids has got into that society, they will know the real essence of corruption, the implications, everything. I have put this forward to the house. I have done everything possible for them to okay, let's look into this. Let's make this thing a curriculum. Forget, you don't have to do an exam for it, but let the students be enlightened. Talking about it on air and on the radio is not enough, but they have to be enlightened. That means it should be their let me know. I'm not going to use that word, but it should be like their handout. You understand? That what the government ought to be doing. You understand? But they're not doing it.
I think the challenge is that nobody will want to nail his own coffin by himself. And one question I've always asked some people most times, and especially most of my people from the political science and I ask, in a democratic society, whose responsibility is it to prosecute corrupt politicians? The president, the House of Assembly, or the judiciary? And my little understanding of government, or the functions of organs of government, the House of Assembly, their primary duty is to enact the law and constitution, finally ultimately be vetoed by the executive. Executive carries it out to the letter. The judiciary interprets and punish offender, so to say. Now, I'm beginning to wonder, under military regime, one person can do all this all.
Yes, yeah.
But now,
because of degrees.
Now, whose responsibility in Nigeria to apprehend corrupt politicians and judges?
That's why
is it Jonathan, or is it Jonathan who is the head of executive, or the judges or the judiciary?
Well, you have the EFCC.
Okay.
EFCC, the Economic Financial Crimes Commission. The Economic Financial Crimes Commission takes the case to if you're a corrupt person, the EFCC goes after you, and it takes the case to the judiciary.
So what becomes the case? When people are saying that the president is not prosecuting his. So I think there's a misconception.
Because they have what they call immunity. There's
that
always
the president
immunity.
is not prosecuting corrupt politicians. If it's not his responsibility to do that, if it's the responsibility of the EFCC or judiciary to do that, then why has it become?
But you saw during Obasanjo era when a Tafawa Balewa, a police commissioner was picked up. Even during Obasanjo era, we had the governor of former governor of Bayelsa, the Aliame Singer. He was picked up.
Yeah, but then we are still accusing Obasanjo of using the EFCC to witch hunt his political opponent. That's what people are saying.
That's why they have to make that organization an independent
the fact is that Nigerians need to be enlightened on the workings of a democratic government, how it works, how the principle works. Because if in a democratic setting,
can we go to Abu Benjamin?
Okay.
Good morning or good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, Benjamin.
Yes, this is Benjamin.
Yeah, thanks for calling in.
Hello.
Yeah,
how you doing, sir?
Well, we can hear you loud and clear. Please make your contributions.
Okay, please. I know you guys are discussing elections. Election in Nigeria. Can you just give me a highlight of the particular point you guys are discussing?
We are just talking generally, both the election update, the issues they are having in the polling security and all whatnot, whatever has to do with the Nigeria, moving Nigeria forward. So it's an open discussion. You can air your view.
Okay, my contribution is I'll just talk about what we just read from the internet today, where they are saying that some Southerners, or most of the Southerners, what do they call it? Meter card reader.
Okay.
At almost 50% were invalid. So compare with that of the northern parts, which almost all of them were read correctly. So I don't know whether it is just a mistake.
It's probably a move.
It should be regionalized. While some people in the north will have theirs, so easy, and those people in the south, will have some pinches along the line. I don't know whether it is deliberate or just a share of luck.
Yeah, I don't think it's deliberate. Nobody wants to do that deliberately when you have an election that it's monitored around the world by the United Nations. I don't think it's going to be deliberate. Maybe it's just a little bit of here and there. But definitely, our correspondent from Nigeria will be coming back on to give us some updates. So just stay tuned for more updates. But I don't think it's deliberate, sir. The INEC will not do that, and because the world is watching. The world is watching. They won't do that, sir.
Okay, exactly. I just pray it is so. So, in the absence of that, I also called back in Nigeria, and there was a delay. Kind of, some people had themselves identified, and they have to go home, and spend some time before coming back to vote. This is what I may say, a little punishment on the side of the voters who will be spending all day, just trying to cast their vote.
That's true. And like I just had a report, an unconfirmed report that we just had now that INEC has extended voting to Sunday.
And they've ordered for manual accreditation because of the challenges in the card readers.
The card readers.
So INEC has actually ordered the use of a manual accreditation and extended voting to Sunday. And the thing, the challenge in all of this is
technology. Bringing in technology.
Technology is giving a challenge, and nobody can actually say what is actually the issue. But the truth is that, and on a long run, this is going to give any person that loses a chance to either begin to go to court or to instigate violence anywhere. So that is just the challenge that this issue might end up bringing if care is not taken or if not properly handled. If not handled correctly, it's going to end up these are the kind of things that bring violence. When some supporters will say, we aren't allowed, it was deliberate. No matter how you try to explain it out, nobody will, they won't understand.
Thank you very much, sir.
Definitely.
Thank you very much for calling in.
Okay, my final comment is that, this is just, I think this is one of the first time Nigeria is using such technology in their voting system. And, it should be open to little mistakes, and they will make correction from there. And hopefully the next one should be something better than the first one.
Yes.
And finally, there is just a general, maybe law kind of, they are just passing through the whole country of the issue of no transportation, or rather, and everyone should be out of the road, no driving around or something like that. So some people have to trek a very long distance in order to cast their vote, because the vehicles were banned, driving in the street.
Yeah,
you guys have such a...
because most people you're not meant to, based on where registrations and polling booths are strategically located, you're not meant to go too far from your location to go and accreditate and vote, because it's something trackable. Except you registered way beyond your jurisdictions, and that means you must find a means of going there before that time, because that is generally the rule in Nigeria. During election, people are not allowed to drive around.
Yeah, because like it causes violence. You understand? Like people, if you drive, you can drive to another place and go and cause mayhem.
So I remember the last election. I live in Festac, but during registration, I was with and I had a program I was going in Unilag. I registered in Unilag. So before the voting, I had to go to Unilag because I know that was where I registered. I went there a day before, and that was where I voted. If I stayed in Festac, or if I said the next day I'm looking for a bus to come from Festac to Unilag, Akoka, to come and vote, it would have been a major challenge. So it is not a deliberate thing. That is a normal rule. During election day, there is no movement of vehicles. Maybe it's around a specific time. Maybe they said to around 6 o'clock.
6, yeah.
6
Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you, guys, and please keep it up.
Okay,
all right,
thank you. Please. Yeah.
Yeah. So you
everybody.
Okay.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.
All right. We just heard from unconfirmed reports saying that they've pushed the election. I'll try and get across to Comrade Eniola to confirm that from us.
Okay, so, like that is basically those things we're saying. If you know, remember I was telling you what options does INEC have should the PVN, the card reader accreditation fails, because with the tensions, with the inexperience, with the not 100% tested and guaranteed process, there is tendency for a backlog and there's tendency for a flop. And it is not when there's an issue, start troubleshooting on that spot where people...
Yes, but INEC, I understand.
So this manual accreditation thing...
they're going back to the old
school.
You understand?
Old system. I think it's a welcome development, but my fear or the fear of people is going to be for people not to use this as a yardstick to instigate violence after the whole thing. So that is just the general concern of most of the people and most Nigerians everywhere. So we pray that INEC gets it right. Since the election from the report to God has been, and voting has been extended till Sunday. So in that regard, let's keep our fingers crossed and hope that we get it all right.
We get it right. Okay, so are we going back on he talked about the credibility of INEC. Okay, someone talked about...
We're talking about the duty. Whose duty is to fight? You know, when Lloyd raised the question of what is Nigerian government or what we're going to do to crumble the issue of corruption in Nigeria. We all know that in economics we studied and we know that Nigeria is the center of African policy. Most things that happen around Africa is centered right in Nigeria. And if Nigeria gets it right,
the world gets it right.
Fall right with other African countries. But if we get it wrong, it's definitely a woe to Africa as a continent. So the question brings us to whose responsibility is it to fight corruption in a democratic setting?
The government.
Because if we said the president is not fighting corruption, is not prosecuting corrupt politicians, is it what he should do? If we said OBJ, when he was the president, he was fighting, impeaching, clamoring, bringing people down, was it what he should do as a democratic government? Because I was listening to the secretary to the federal government, and the person of Pius Anyan, in one of his speech the other day, in a town hall meeting organized by one of these civil rights organizations. So was trying to explain their cardinal belief as an administration of good luck and administration. He was trying to explain his cardinal belief. He said one of the high points he wanted to do, that first and foremost, that made him to veto the Freedom of Information Bill was to give democracy in Nigeria a new look. That for it to be a time when that they are not afraid of opposition, they are not afraid of criticizing the government. And that is why for the first time in Nigeria we are seeing a government where people can get information about the government We talk about money missing in NPC. We talk about we can know how much is in the Federal Reserve. Now, unlike before, you don't know what.
You don't know what. Yeah.
Federal Reserve is just like something in the cloud. That's like a big post in the cloud that has money. Nobody knows what it is. But now people can tell you the amount that is in the Federal Reserve. He said that is a cardinal objective, so that people can say it and question the government or the right authorities appropriately. And on that note, they took it further to make sure that all the operatives, all the organs of government work independently. They don't want to push some things. So let it not be as if the government is going beyond their bound to do what is, because he said by virtue of how Nigerian 19th Constitution is structured, the president can do or undo. But they don't want to do that. So that you don't rock the boat. So they want let democracy
take its due course.
Take its due course. But for me as a person, I'm seeing it as being weak. Because if we look at how OBJ did his own administration, get him here, grab him here, pull this one down, bring this one up. Woman said, because of the way our people are, it worked for him.
Because OBJ had his way. OBJ was an ex-military man.
I was talking with a friend. I told him that, look, maybe because we have been under military rule for too long. And the next the next dispensation of democracy we had, being a person of OBJ, being a military man, he played democracy with a military, in a military form. You get it? Because he was a democratic president, but in a military manner. And so, when Jonathan came in as a democratic president, that's not military. We'll begin to see difference, and we'll begin to see who is it that he is weak or clueless, as people say, or is it that he's allowing democratic principles to work?
I just believe Jonathan is a very good man. You know, he just had some wolves around him that didn't make him really achieve his main aim. And he's naturally a quiet person, you understand? So looking at him, they'll feel that that is his weakness, that is his weak point. But that man knows what he's doing. And if Jonathan wins in this election again, I think things will improve. There are some people he needs to do away with because they are not helping him at all. They are not helping him at all. You understand? And that's that about it. Now we're gonna probably, I don't know if we're gonna go, if we're allowed to go on break or if we can continue.
Let's just talk a bit on on the somebody just the comrade that called in the other time said something that was very, very significant and crucial.
Good.
He said the role of INEC. He was saying that in the area in Abuja where he was, like he's not seeing the presence of military personnel as it seems to be. So we're trying to say, but fine, because of the court injunction that the other party got, all right? APC, right?
Yes.
APC had got a court injunction that
about the military. Why
the military shouldn't be deployed in polling units, polling areas. Fine.
Unless they shouldn't come to this place where where people are voting. They should be away from the polling area unless they hear any form of violence, then they can come in.
But the truth is that how prompt will be their response in such situations? But nobody can assess that.
Nobody can assess that. But I mean, you call in the military. Military, people don't even see military. The military is like in some countries it's taboo. If you see the military if you see the military in the city, then there's something happening. Yeah. You can see how what happened in Egypt, how the military said they were going to be for the people because they don't see the military every time. You understand? So coming to this, and like Nigeria has been a democratic dispensation for a while, and some people were like saying, okay, you are bringing all this military into the city. Where were this military when the insurgents were killing people? Where were they when they were attacking the kidnapped girls, the school girls? Where were this military? Now why are you bringing the military to the town? So is it that some people, if they just see the military, they'll be scared? You understand? They'll be scared because of the idea. I mean, I grew up in a society where they'll be calling us you bloody civilian and stuff like that. You understand?
Beat the hell out of you.
Thank you. Frog jump and stuff like that.
Roll on the floor, roll in the gutter.
It's unlike people still have that memory of the military, even though the military has tried to rebrand themselves as people friendly. You understand? So I mean, bringing the military alone You understand? It's kind of it will scare some people away.
Okay, let's see how because like we know the job of INEC ends immediately after
the election.
And they announce the result. They are handing off. It becomes the job of the security operatives to ensure peace and stability across the states in Nigeria. So we're looking at a situation where things will not fall out of hand because violence per se doesn't come during election because these days are gone when people will carry
ballot boxes.
Ballot boxes. Carry the ballot boxes, it pays you no good. Now, but except,
you want to
except this one, our moving to manual accreditation, anything can still
happen. Anything happen, yes,
but
now.
If after the elections, our security operatives can be fully on ground to make sure that no violence is meted against any individual, that our youth corps that are diligently doing their job will not be maimed again like we had in the past.
Yeah. And another thing is that today nobody's brought to justice. Why? Why did I mean that's what we have a problem in Nigeria. During a violence, you never bring anybody to justice. At least to bring a closure.
I read a case of an application against Buhari and in International Court of Justice about those people that he was his supporters that instigated them, but I don't know how.
But he never, according to what I mean, I saw the. I mean, because like we have to be balanced. Well, I mean, though people are one side, we have to look at it from both ways. You understand? Fine, they said that, but at the same time, he didn't tell them to go out and cause violence.
But we know Nigeria and our level of most times followership in Nigeria is becoming like especially when it mixed with religion, tribe, and all that, it become like a court. You get it's just like a court. People they are all out to die. Even when at the end of the day they don't have anything to benefit. Even when at the end of that's why I ask people that if this guy is a president like the North, we are saying that for the past years that the North has been in power and stuff like that, that the Alimejaris, they are just beggars on the street. That somebody is giving them education, trying to give them food and give them enlightenment. So one will begin to wonder, who pays me more? So it come to a stage when we begin to look beyond tribe, beyond religion, to look at who serves my interest, who benefits us as a people.
As a people.
If this person, what you use me for is just in violence, you tell me to just take a knife and take gun and go to the street and kill. Meanwhile, your own children, you tell me that education is crime and sin. Meanwhile, your own children are abroad
stuff like
getting the best of education, and they will come back and be our leaders. We know most of these leaders whom their children have not worked for a day, but they drive the best of the cars. They're all over the country. They are managing companies and not rest. They own oil blocks and do this and do that.
And I tell myself, I've not really seen any political party, any of these top class, their child trying to do something good for the youth or something for their place. I mean, don't we think?
Where are they in the first place? We don't even see them.
Don't they think? I mean, I'm just saying. I'm not trying to like give any. I'm just saying. If don't they think like us? I mean, I just think about it though.
Yeah, most times, like I read a book was saying that most times inherited wealth has a way. If you check 90% of people that inherited wealth, they end back in penury because you give the child the pleasure that comes with wealth, but it doesn't have the zeal to create or to retain. So most times what they play around is the flavor and the joy around the wealth, but the zeal to actually work or to make an impact is not there. So you won't give what you don't have. That's just a simple philosophy.
So we talk about religion. We talk about corruption. We talk about the postponement.
Yeah, you were going to say something about the state by state.
Yes. Now let's go towards what we're trying to do now. We're trying to get states. We're going to go by state, and states that are leaning towards Buhari, leaning towards Jonathan, and states that are in a toss-up state. We'll go one after each other. Let me see. Before then, can you give us some Jonathan achievements? What has Jonathan? Let's look at his achievements though.
Okay, okay, like President Jonathan, like we actually have seen so far in what I can say the part of what the problem that Jonathan had as a person is he had the media it was a media problem. It doesn't have information
Publicity.
management.
Information
Let me
management.
put it that way. Information management is part of their major problem, because it is quite obvious that in a country like Nigeria, where there are so many informations and news and negative stuff going around, it's equally important that at any point in time as a leader, you must carry the people along. Probably the people you had, like rightly said, probably the people who surrounded themselves around as information ministers or ministers or advisors for this aren't well informed on the important. That's why we're talking about youthfulness. They aren't informed about what the power of social media in this generation.
And what I believe was that they relaxed. The PDP relaxed. They never thought that it would be this. It's going to be like this.
Yeah,
So they relaxed.
So it was during the last minute that we're, in as much as most of us are seeing changes, there are so many fundamental works going on. And like I can say, as an economist, I know how privatization works, especially in a sector that is as financial, have so much financially intensive, high financial, like the power sector. It's capital intensive sector. For such a sector to be privatized over years, we know so many things have gone there over years. When the former Minister of Power and Steel, the person of Professor Bat Naji came, he did a very good job by moving most of those regional directors and all the rest. And
my dad was one of them. He worked in NEPA in the eastern region, There was
so many shaking around. And at the end of it, when he finished the shaking, he was even shaking off himself. He was shaking off at that. But fine, but we can see that well, you have a good information. If your dad worked in a power sector,
he worked in the power station, and I grew up in that area, especially when I was growing up in the 80s. We had light. There was constant electricity. We never had any problem of rationing the electric. And
so I think in the area of the privatization, I expected the government of the day to carry the people along of fire, because when you say you privatize, an average Nigerian would think, where is the light?
Where's the light?
But
what they said, maybe when we come back in the next segment, we'll have to talk about this privatization. We'll have to talk about this achievement so far, and the state leaning towards Buhari and Jonathan. Please don't go away, and we'll definitely be back.
Thanks for
staying with us, and please
this far.
Continue to bring in give us your votes. Give us your information. Continue to call in our line, and we are here for you. We'll probably be here for you.
We'll supply you more updates as we'll come back from this commercial break. Thank you very much. DJ Gazelle.
Venanza, Claude Atlantis.